Oh yeah. Episode 23, yeah. Yeah. Lego. Come on. The case of a great producer and a fatal flaw. Is Bam Bam the X Factor for Mayday? Is it time for the return of Red Alert? Let us analyze the evidence on this episode of Bulldog Court. Bulldog community, please rise. This is your host, Get a Hold James, because we got to get a hold of the game.
Court is now in session.
So the next thing I know, I come in the room and she butt bookie naked with nothing on but a cowboy hat, some cowboy boots, and what looked like some blue blocker shades. So you know, I went hee-haw in that thing. Wait a minute, we recording now. This is your host, Get a Hold James. I'm sorry about that, but we got to get a hold of the game. Having a conversation about some other stuff. I'd like to thank everybody for showing up. I'd like to thank everybody for the commentary on last week. You underdid all the comments. Y'all know I be trying different ways to start the show off. I be trying different ways to come in and catch y'all off guard. But I appreciate everybody for checking out when we do the premiere on Saturdays. You know, all the people that come in, I appreciate it. And I appreciate the support. I appreciate all the commentary from last week. And now we're about to get into, we're not going to waste any time. We're going to get into, also too, I like to, send my prayers out and continue support for the twins and anybody else who might have had damage, had losses, you know, of animals during the hurricane and that were affected by the hurricane. Just keep scratching, hold your head. But we're about to get into the first case. And for the first case, a great producer and a fatal flaw. Let us get into this. First of all, shout out to J-Bo and Nonstop on Bulldogging with Bo, Dogman TV. If you have not checked it out, subscribe and follow, and like or watch the show. Please get in now. And so there was a discussion they was having the other night. I wanted to continue that conversation, particularly about a dog called Inland Empire's or Honor Squad's Gunny, registered married. Now this dog primarily goes back to the Black Angel, you know, the grand champion, Spike Blood on pedigree. Some people say that Gardner's Gator or Gator and Doc Holliday were really off of Chinaman. Some people say they were off of Grand Champion Pedro. So, who's to say? One of them Tom Garner studs is the pappy. That's all we know. Is one of them Tom Garner studs at the time. They the pappy. So we gonna go by what it is. But either way, this particular line is known for throwing cold dogs, and that is the fatal flaw I'm talking about. The Gunny dog threw multiple champions in whatever square you could name. I repeat, he threw champions in whatever square you could name. He has champions to represent both styles or lifestyles. But the fatal flaw I'm talking about is the fact that he was a cold dog. That he was cold. But he's a registered merit and he produced champions in every way that you could imagine to throw a champion. Confirmation, etc., etc. Just to mention some of those champions You got Hard Heads champion Sin. You've got Honor Squad's champion Fat Boy. You know, you've got, the one I like the most is Inlet Empire's champion Bumper. And when you see how Bumper is bred, when I say I really, really love the way he bred, I mean, I really love the way that he's bred. So I'm going to put not only a picture, but his pedigree up here as well. You know, you probably can see on the bottom side that Hooten's pistol, you know, with the Black Angel stuff on top, the Cracker Jack, all different kind of Eli, man. Just, oh man, gotta love it. But, we see where a lot of people have different opinions, and I just want to ask the Bulldog community's opinion about a producing cold dog. I believe that Little Gator, I believe this would make him that his grandfather or great grandfather, Little Gator, was also a producing registered merit cold dog, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody double check that. But I was told that he was cold, but produced great warriors. And many people did not do what Mr. Wiseman said to do who had Little Gator, and that was not the type breed on Little Gator, because you're gonna get more of what he was and not the things that you want to see. So how do you approach breeding to a cold dog? Would you ever breed to a cold producing dog? Because I think there's a misnomer in some people's mind as dog men and women. They want to breed to the one with the record, the one that actually did everything that I needed them to do. But if they are not the producer, you wasted your time. The idea of breeding is to breed to the producer, to produce you what it is you're looking for. The idea is not to breed to a record. And I know a lot of people will say, well, you want to breed to the ones that produce with the record. That's true also. But somebody got to take a chance. Yeah. Somebody got to take a chance. Now, a lot of people wait for the kennel. And I think that's an oxymoron within itself, because a lot of people don't want to take that chance to be the first one to breed to the champion or grand champion that doesn't have any offsprings, because they've been, they're fresh off the trail. The kennel might have preferred to not breed him, or only breed him maybe once or twice, and keep all of the offspring, because they don't know what he's going to be, and they don't know what he's going to produce. So they hang on to it. But nobody really wants to take the chance on the outside when he's open for public stud to breed to him, because they don't know if he's a producer or not. They know he's a good dog, but they don't know if he's a producer or not. So they wait for the kennel that owns them to do the breedings and raise their stuff up and do their 1-2 with it. And then they'll breed their stuff to it. But I'm like, don't turn around and get mad or start saying stuff like, hey man, these people, they bred up these dogs and they had champions and grand champions, but man, they the only ones that got them. Hell, they were the only ones that bet on them, I guess. Really, literally and figuratively, they the only ones that betted on them. They the only ones that took a chance. So shouldn't they enjoy the fruits of their labor for taking a chance on that dog and taking a chance on breeding to him after they campaigned it? I mean, that sound crazy to me. To say, well, nobody else could get none. Nobody else, a lot of times, a lot of these dogs weren't as private as people might think. That's a misnomer also. A lot of that stuff, a lot of them old journals was filled with grand champions and champions that were open to anybody and everybody. If you got $500, in most cases to $1,000, because it wasn't as much as ridiculous as it is now. And all those dogs really did have records that you could research and look up. A lot of those people just didn't take the chance on those dogs. They didn't gamble. They were afraid to gamble and take that chance. Not the kennel that took the dog all the way. What are we saying? So when I look at a situation like this, I mean, like, really, what do you want? Do you want a dog that's going to produce you those type of dogs, or would you just prefer not to breed to that dog? I just want to bring this up. I just wanted to show this animal and get your thoughts and commentary on what you think would happen. What would you do if you owned a co-producing dog? You know, would you have never known that because you would have never bred him if he wasn't, activated, he wasn't owned? Would you never have bred him so you would have never knew that he was a registered merit dog on your yard? You just would have probably gave him away to somebody or something, Or would you have taken a chance? Would you have gambled on the cold dog and found out, oh my, surprise, surprise, For the case of a great producer and a fatal flaw, this case is now dismissed. We'll get back to the show after these important messages.
Add these reading materials to your historical literature collection of the American Pit Bull Terrier. The Big Red Handbook, Family Bred and Raised, Dogs, Dogmen, and Bloodlines, and the Schoolboy Keep. Contact Richard Schoolboy Garcia on Messenger and purchase your part of history today.
Yeah. And for my second case, is Bam Bam the X factor for the Mayday blood? Let me explain what I mean by this. There have been many conversations. Shout out to Going Hard Twin. They had a discussion maybe last week or so talking about different Mayday dogs that they were potentially looking at, different ones, different strands of Mayday. And I just wanted to throw this one in because people who may not know who Bam Bam is, Southern Kennels Bam Bam is a little mate brother to Havana Boys champion Noriega. And Bam Bam, from my understanding, basically might have been just a yard dog for Acart. But he ended up producing outstanding animals, to the likes of, dogs like Grand Champion, Yellow Man, Champion Mongoose, La Loca, two-time winner, Zeta, two-time winner, Santana, two-time winner. And there are others, I'm just reading from Pairs Online. There were many others. But I want to go back to Grand Champion Yellow Man, and I want to look at his pedigree, and I understand that there are still Yellow Man dogs in the world. Also, too, to look further down at Champion Inktown's Brock, aka Caesar, 4-time winner, 1-time best in show. And also to look at a dog that I heard mentioned was the Green Bean. The Green Bean dog. Now, some of these dogs are difficult to come by depending on who you are and your wittiness of networking and to be able to find these animals. There are also other strands that are not being talked about that I won't mention on this show of Bam Bam dogs doing even better than the Yellow Man strands. That is not for this show, but what I'm saying is there are other alternatives to tapping back into the Mayday blood. I encourage people to look at Mel Kant's Screaming Demon, Champion Screaming Demon. That blood on the top is Arkla Combine blood, which doesn't hurt anything. The Yellow John, the Red Boy Jocko, Jeep, Chinaman cross, basically is what it is. And they bred to a dog that was formerly Gameville's Fatty Girl, which is a heavy Mayday dog, Havana Boys, Joker on the bottom side type dog. That is another way you could tap in. The Champion Mr. Serious blood is another way you could tap in, which is still here in pockets. In some cases, you can find it heavy on the Serious, through down through his grandmother Katana, that's another alternative that to tap back into the Mayday without being a total outcross, because it's bred into the Poncho blood, which is Bolio Tombstone, which is connected to the Hollingsworth, which is also Bolio Tombstone. So you're not leaving out of the family as much by using those animals to tap back into the Mayday blood. You know, there are other alternatives out here, but I really believe that if people network in the right way, do the right research, that Bam Bam's blood could very well be the X factor. Very well be the X factor. And I'm looking at Noriega and what he could have been as a producer. Those are two dogs in the Mayday world that I always have my questions about, as far as what if, and the two dogs are Noriega and Champion 600. If they had got a chance to live, for a long period of time and being able to produce, what type of dogs would they have produced, and would they have been a factor in expanding the Mayday brand, or even furthermore reshaping? I think those two dogs may have been two of the more better Mayday dogs. You know, a lot of people say Champion 600 was the best male. We understand that a lot of females were the best Mayday dogs. They were the females. But as far as males is concerned, you know, Noriega and 600, they come up in conversation as absolutely the best Mayday males. And I know it's people that's going to disagree, and that's all fine and well. Please put those comments in the chat, and also comments under this video to let me know. If not, then who do you think? And if you know any other ways that you could possibly tap into, I forget, you know, like Champion Morocco, over, but I think he's in South America, but dogs like that. And we understand that also you got in Mexico, you have the Champion Simplicio, his brother, Grand Champion Jesse. Those dogs are also dogs that could be brought back in, to add vigor into the Mayday dogs over here that may have been, you know, they gotta, just like some cereal that you left in the bowl for too long, the milk made it soggy. You know what I'm saying? The blood line kind of getting soggy a little bit. You might need to get you some, get you some hurry up or something, before you mix it up, because it's not as all around as it used to be. A lot of the game is still there, but some of them cottonmouth is on the way. But but like I say, what do you say? Forget what I'm saying. What do you say? Could the Bam Bam blood be the X factor? Could Yellow Man play a part? Green Bean, Brock, and these dogs play a factor? And that's just where I'm gonna leave it at. And for the case of, could Bam Bam be the X factor for the Mayday dogs? This case is now dismissed. Oh yeah. And now it's time for my third and final case. Is it time for the return of Red Alert? That's right, Red Alert. The same Red Alert that was a grand champion and 5-time winner in Russia. Avdiva's, grand champion, Red Alert, Register of Merit. He's off Patrick's Homer 2 on the top. Heavy Bolio. Bottom side off Stone Hollow's 12, which is off of Hollingsworth Bull, and Undertaker Kennels, Miss Leakey, Register of Merit. Hollingsworth Bull was a POR as well. Patrick's Homer, who was the sire of Patrick Homer 2, also Register of Merit. These are excellent producing animals. And the reason why I bring this up is because of the influx of scrawls that are being used, like the Red Pirate dog, like the CML's Champion Little John blood being brought back in. is it also time that we bring some more Bolio, Hollingsworth from a different aspect, from a different place that's still very much active and is also very much relevant to the conversation that we speak of on today as it pertains to when I talked about Bam Bam, when I'm talking about the Hollingsworth dogs, when I'm talking about the Gaston dogs, when I'm talking about the Little John, the Cuban Missing Links, the Havana Boys of the world, and what they are doing. I understand that the Havana Boys are breeding their blood more into the Stan Demand blood, which is a fine outcross. But just to bring things back to the center of what made these dogs special was the Bolio Tombstone Red Boy Jocko cross, and in which ways do you go about doing that to find the best representative of the blood moving into the future, I think is a big question. I think that also too, you can find the best possible representation without doing a complete outcross away from that blood. There is enough of this blood still around, the Bolio Tombstone blood in whichever form you find it in, the Red Boy Jocko blood. There's still enough of the blood in its original form to be able to recreate, if people are willing to do the work, the original recipe without all the tab and jeep. I mean, that's if you really still believe in it. Like people go on and on talking about it. If you really believe in it, like you say, you would want to get it back to its original to start the process over again from the original 50-50, right? But I guess people will not do that because that's maybe a little bit too much work. Why not just throw some tab, some Rodriguez Gator, some Tramp, whatever, to try to help it on its way. But, I digress, maybe it just don't got the same punch it had. Blood stale. What they say, the blood goes stale. Yeah, it's gonna keep on being stale if you don't know what to do to add the vigor back into it. And you'll be left, in scatterbread hell. But I digress. I just wanted to touch on this and to, look at the different, observations that I have, the different ways of looking at things that I see. And if you don't know much about what Red Alert has produced, then I challenge you to, look at Pepsi Team's Grand Champion Holly, the Pavlova's Hammer, the Champion Lifestar Red Boy, just stuff like that. Grand Champion Light, Champion Romeo's Red Leo. Like I say, there are others that are not up here. The Balthazar dog, stuff like that. But, just check it out for yourself. I wasn't going to spend a lot of time on this, but just to inform people that may not know or that are looking around that there are other avenues to look into. You may just have to do a little bit more leg work to get it shipped from Russia or Yugoslavia or wherever it is now to get it, the Ukraine or whatever, to get it back into the States is what I'm saying. But these are also good bloodlines that could be placed back into those lines to make the line strong again. They're talking about this election year. They're talking about make America great again. I'm saying make the Mayday dogs strong again. Do the right thing. Do it the right way. Or make a Mayday again. But I digress. So for the case of, is it time for the return of Red Alert? This case is now dismissed. Oh yeah. And now it's time for my closing monologue. Like I say every time, make your next move your best move, but move strategic like a chess move. I want everybody to keep their eyes on these water buckets, these water pails. Change them out every day like we always do, but make sure you scrub out for that bacteria that's in there that could be harmful for your animals. Get the green stuff out of there, man. Don't be lazy. But this is your host, Get a Hope James. Cause we got to get a hold of the game. I'm out.